Which jobs do you think should require random drug testing? Which jobs should require random drug testing?
None.
None.
None?
None.
How about a pilot on heroin?
But no pilot should be using heroin. I mean, no one should be doing a responsible job and under the influence of any drug or under the influence of emotional upset. A pilot shouldn't be flying if he's just breaking up with his wife.
Okay.
Because anything that distracts you from an important, responsible job is dangerous.
Okay, so not random drug testing, but you think that on-the-job drug use should be prohibited? Or sometimes?
What do we do about, do we prohibit people drinking on the job, or do we ask them not to? Or do we fire them if they are found to be drinking? It's not against the law to drink alcohol, but if somebody working for you is drinking while they're working for you, usually they are not being responsible. Therefore, they shouldn't have the job.
Okay, someone else told me basically you hire people because they show themselves to be, qualified and responsible.
Right.
And then you assume so until you get suspicions otherwise.
Exactly,
You don't
yeah.
just assume that everyone is equally, it's
Absolutely right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. A significant number of heroin abusers have suffered permanent neurological damage, possibly from other drugs mixed into or taken with heroin. Your views on this?
I believe the people who are addicted to heroin and will use it chronically and continuously can do it on heroin alone.
Okay. So the side effects of the heroin itself could cause this neural... Because I've seen people that, like on TV, there's some celebrities now, they talk like this, with like and they're heroin abusers. Could it be from, say, byproducts of, say, maybe... I remember there was a thing with MPTP that was causing, I think, Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And maybe, could that be a contributing factor, or you say that just the heroin itself, even if properly processed?
Originally, clinically pure heroin can be totally addictive.
Well, not addictive, but the side effects of neurological damage.
Neurological, yes, oh yes.
Okay.
Pure heroin
Oh yes.
can be dangerous that way?
Certainly.
I thought it was a very safe drug.
Very safe means what?
It doesn't cause permanent or
No, but
dangerous side effects.
very often, the person will choose to use more and more of it.
Oh, that's the addiction. But
Yes.
if you have a heroin user who can supply,
Limit the amount of, it's be fine.
because I gather that heroin is a very clean and safe drug. It's the illegality that causes it to be dangerous.
Well, it's this overdose, though, which makes it not safe to my... Yeah.
Well, overdose of aspirin it kills you
Yes,
too.
that's right.
I think with the overdose of heroin, it seems to be more of a byproduct of the drug laws, because the consistency is... It's like people who have a leaning towards that seem to just do what they can get. And maybe, who knows? There doesn't seem to be any standardization.
I think this has been actually, studies have been made with people who have access to to the heroin they need, not overdosing, but the heroin that makes them feel comfortable, can do very well. It's just that in most countries they can't get all the heroin they need. But if they can, they do it perfectly well. Their mentality is clear, their mind is clear, and their body doesn't seem to suffer.
That's right.
I mean, I'm surprised at that, but that's what they seem to do. have found.
But then at the same time, Sasha is saying that they can have neurological problems from clinically pure heroin.
Oh, yes, and you have,
What, if it's too much or too
you have problems from clinically pure aspirin.
Okay, but
Yeah.
not as,
As an overdose,
Yes.
an overdose of any drug
Yes.
is dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
but not particularly that one.
and you had mentioned in another interview that in China they cook with a lot of drugs that are considered controlled substances in the US.
They cook?
Yeah, they use it in cooking, I believe. I got that from an Arrowwood interview. I think you said they cook with a heck of a lot of drugs that would be considered controlled substances.
I can't
I don't
imagine
remember
that's a
you
real
saying that.
quote, because I can't imagine what in Chinese cooking would be,
Over in China.
yeah, what,
Okay.
but what do they use in cooking that would be
I
controlled substance?
I got this from an interview I read that was on Arrowwood. You mentioned that, and I thought that was a,
I don't remember that.
okay.
But I can't think of anything that would fit that.
Okay. I thought, I read it a couple of times, I'm like, it's okay.
That must be a misprint or something, because it
Okay,
makes no
yes.
sense to me.
I really couldn't, it's really jumped out, it's like, oh my God, ask
Yeah,
about that.
that's weird.
Yeah, and okay, well, let's if I made it up, which I do either of you take vitamins or nutritional supplements?
Oh, you betcha. Yeah, both
I
of
take what
us.
she gives me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you take on a daily basis, as nutritional supplements?
Calcium, vitamins,
Multivitamin.
multivitamins, fish oil,
Oh, really?
as much as possible. Yeah. And let's see, what else? Yeah, basically those three.
She puts it in front of me in the morning and in the evening I take it. I don't know what it is.
He politely, obediently takes it. Yeah.
Would dosing people as punishment be effective?
As punishment for what?
Well, I'm kind of thinking of the Clockwork Orange scenario or such, like, say instead of, you got someone who, I guess it depends on the crime, but say a car thief hits someone stealing cars.
Mhm.
So would, instead of putting them in jail with other criminals, would dosing them with the psychedelic substance as punishment be effective?
Not as punishment. If you want to use MDMA and emphasize the experience of the owner of the car, he might be forced into empathy, which if he was unfamiliar with empathy, then that could be an important experience, which would keep him from taking things that didn't belong to him.
So your answer is basically yes.
Not as punishment, but as education.
So say rehabilitation instead of punishment.
Rehabilitation, but I don't know of
Habilitation.
too many, but MDMA is the only drug that I can think of which can consistently produce an experience of empathy. So I'm not too sure that it